Hey there. This is Pam Perry. Welcome to the Black Speakers Network, Speakers Magazine cover reveal with our cover girl, Kelsey Nicole, for December 2022. We're going to be talking about TikTok talks, okay? TikTok talks, because she is a TikTok celebrity, 100,000 plus followers on TikTok, okay? And one of the things this issue is doing is celebrating the Black press because she's known as the print princess. In this issue is editor and publisher. This ended up the November issue of editor and publisher EMP. And yeah, this is it. And Eleanor Tatum, who is in New York, who is the publisher of the year for EMP, and she's with the New York Amsterdam News. And she so happens to also be in the same issue with Kelsey. How appropriate, right? And it's one of those things where I'm kind of jumping ahead of myself a little bit, but the reason why I say that is because I found out about Kelsey Russell uh, from EMP. So one month I get the EMP. I get a ton of EMPs, right? We get they come every single month, and I love them. I mean, they're always on time. But this one particular issue, I'm flipping through, and it's very rare do I see a lot of African Americans. And I saw this big feature of this Black girl talking about the print princess, and I'm like, what? And so I click on it, and Ryan Dorn, who is my business partner, Speak So Shine, he saw the same article, and it was like, oh my God, this girl is fabulous. She is doing all the things in her space with the print, because Niche Media Conference, which he does, and we do Speak So Shine, we really talk about speakers. And then he talks about niche publications, print. And so Kelsey was like killing the game. And so that's how I said, editor and publisher kind of like brought us together with you, because not only is she the cover of this with Eleanor in there from New York, she's going to be on a New York Times Square billboard in the month of December. So I want you to make sure I tell you the date so you can go and take a picture of that, put that on TikTok. But also too, she's going to be one of the keynote speakers at the Niche Conference in Vegas next April. So that, and she'll be at Speak Sell Shine in October. Okay.
Yes.
Because this year we had a little situation where
Little
she couldn't
stummy.
make it. little food things going on with I was like, what is going on? So anyway, but that it all ended up in divine timing. So everything worked out. So Kelsey, welcome to Speakers Magazine, Black Speakers Network interview. Shout out to Brian Oles, who is the founder of BSN, Black Speakers Network. He allows us to broadcast to his audience, and he sends it out to 40,000 of his closest friends and family via email as well. So I just want to say thank you. And how did all this get started? Okay.
How did all this get started? Well, thank you for inviting me. Thank you for just, celebrating me. It means so much. And it all got started because I was in grad school. I went to teachers college at Columbia. I graduated this May with my master's in sociology and education. I was always an avid learner, love curiosity, love approaching everything about learning. And I found that I would be at the dinner table, I'd be at dates, I'd be at parties, and war, politics would come up, and I would have nothing to say. And that's very odd for me because I like to open my mouth and speak. I like to have something to say. And I didn't feel comfortable. I didn't feel like I knew what was going on in the world with the news, yet I knew so much about what was going on in these spaces of sociology and education. So combined with me wanting to find a new way of learning, consuming news that looked different from me just scrolling on social media, I also was in therapy. And my therapist was suggesting, why don't you find something that makes little Kelsey happy? What did little Kelsey like to do? And I thought about being in the library and reading almanacs, reading Guinness Book of World Records. I just love collecting random information. I also thought about how when I was younger, I would read the paper in the morning. So it
Mm.
all made sense to ask my dad for a New York Times subscription in the morning to come to my door. And that's how it all got started. I already had a following of about 40,000 followers from lifestyle, college, and humor content. So when I opened that front page for the first time in almost 10 years, I was thinking to myself, there's a lot of cool stuff going on in the world. And I like reading it on print better. So I just put my phone down and in my own way, in my own vernacular, told my audience we need to read the newspaper more. And that's how this journey got started. So I always say
Oh my God.
therapy, wanting to learn, and then feeling like I needed to say a little something extra at the dinner table because I
And
did have,
curiosity,
yeah,
and
curiosity.
really bringing both, the technology with
Yep.
what I call old school print,
Yes.
publications, right? The physical things, and that's one reason why we continue to do the online. There's definitely a online for speakersmagazine.com. That's for sure,
Mm-hmm.
speakersmagazine.com. Um, and there's also the physical copies. So the physical copies get mailed out to media and
Mm-hmm.
media planners because obviously they're looking for speakers, and then the media looking for subject matter experts. But
Mm-hmm.
and also too is online. So online, what will happen is people can actually click the videos that are embedded in the magazine or read them at the bottom of the page. Monet, if you could put Speakers Magazine, our branding as our producer, she's in the back at the bottom so that people will know what we are and who we are. I know, obviously. There we go. Yeah. So they can visit this one, Speakers Magazine, speakersmagazine.com, so they can kind of get what we're talking about
Mm-hmm.
because it's so important for us to actually, because, okay, I'll give you a good example, Kelsey. So you see, I
Mm-hmm.
got this little newspaper print
I
thing
love
on,
it.
right? So
I
I've,
love
I've,
it.
I've been an OG with print for a long time. Okay. So my first job was at the Detroit Free Press. So I had
Mm-hmm.
papers, newspaper ink was all over my hands all the time. I'm
Yes.
like a newspaper print girl. It's fine. You can leave it like that, Monet. That yeah, that's fine. And so one of the things, because Kelsey's name is in the back. So one of the things is that last night was the Who's Who in Black Detroit, and I took these magazines, and they were on everyone's table. So they were like, "Who's that girl?" And I'm like, "That is Kelsey Russell. She's the print princess." I said, "You need to have her speak at one of your events," that kind of thing. So anyway, so
Thank you.
that's the importance of having a printed publication because
Yes.
now everybody walks away, and it's not real huge. Just, I mean, not, no, shade against if you have a large publication,
Mm-hmm.
you know but if it's smaller, it's like I can carry this with me. It's a little bit smaller to get to put in my purse, and or for me to fold and put into my jacket pocket and that kind of thing. So that was one of the things, but they were celebrating Who's Who in Black Detroit, but
Mm-hmm.
also to the Black press, because the
Mm.
Michigan Chronicle has been telling their story since 1936
Yeah, wow.
in the Black community. And so what they did is they just were highlighting some of the top people that were in the over the years that they reported on over the years and that kind of thing. So I love this. So let's talk a little bit about this cover and this photo shoot that who it was done by our fabulous photographer, Jeff
Yes.
Brooks.
Jeff
Shout out to
Brooks.
Jeff Brooks as
Thank
well.
you, Jeff.
Oh my God. So tell us a little bit about this photo shoot because you had a lot going on those days. First of all, what were you doing in Baltimore?
I
Okay.
had a lot going on. Great question. What was I doing in Baltimore? Because I don't find myself in Baltimore often unless it's for a convention or something odd. But I was actually hosting Maryland Public TV launched a media literacy center. And I got the honor to co-host or co-MC with Frank Sesno, like from CNN. It was so fabulous. Yes,
Oh
it
my
was. And it
gosh.
was actually my first live TV event. So I had a lot of nerves, Dr. Perry. I had a lot of nerves, but I
Woo.
breathed deep. I was trying to remember what's the point of imposter syndrome because you're here, obviously.
Right.
So that's what I was doing was helping them launch their literacy center. And I told you that I was going to be in Baltimore, and you said you had a photographer that was in the area. So I woke up early that morning, got my makeup done. Jeff
Woo.
actually recommended a fabulous makeup artist.
Oh,
She came to
good.
the room. I'm not a morning person, so you know what? I will get up to get my hair and makeup done. That is what I tell people. I love the morning, do that kind of stuff.
Right, right, right.
And he came to the hotel room, and I mean, we banged out this photo shoot. He did it so efficiently, so quickly because I had to be down at MPT, Maryland Public TV, to rehearse. I think around 1 or 2 p.m. So we started this
Wow.
photo shoot at 10 a.m. and we got these beautiful photos. We did some in the
Wow.
lobby too, and then he actually came back to the hotel room, and we did
Oh
some
my.
more photos too after
Oh my.
rehearsal.
Oh my God, that is so cool. So you were doing a media literacy. So talk about the passion for that because you said you graduated in May from Columbia with your master's degree. In June, you ended up in E&P
Yes.
in June, a month later. So, girl, you are doing a darn thing, okay? Because not a lot of people can graduate with their master's degree in May, and then I'm in like E&P. I'm not talking about. I wish I had the issue. It was like 2 or 3 pages, a
Yeah.
full
I never
story.
actually saw the physical one either. I only saw the online edition. So if you could find it,
Yes,
I'm
I
gonna
do
ask him
have it.
too.
I do
We'll need
have
to
it. I
ask him.
listen, I have so many magazines and newspapers here. I do not part with books, magazines, and newspapers, okay?
You can.
This is a library, and then if you come and borrow one and you don't give it back, we got problems, okay?
Oh, not you're that librarian. She's a
No,
real librarian.
when I was growing up, one of the things is kinda like you, I love reading everything, and you
Yeah,
were saying you read the almanac. I did too. I was, like, reading. I love reading a bunch of
it's so
stuff. It
fun.
was like I would my Saturdays growing up would be hanging out in the library, and it
So
was,
fun.
like, the best thing, but today, my favorite thing to do is to go to Barnes& and Noble.
Love
I
Barnes.
love sitting in Starbucks and in this Barnes& and Noble and just
Mm,
browsing through all of the magazines and newspapers, all the books, and then I may buy 1 or 2, but I'm sitting there and I'm reading a whole lot of stuff.
that's
But
what
yeah,
you have to do.
I that thing, when I saw that, that was in May and then June. And
Mhm.
then tell us what has been like the trajectory. So you were when you were in E&P, you were roughly at about 80,000, 90,000, I guess you would say. Now,
Yes.
where's your numbers now on TikTok?
I'm about at 107,000, so almost
What?
108,000.
Oh my
Yes.
god, it's going up like 1,000 a week because I just remember it was like 100, it was over 100, and then it's like 100, it's like 1,000 a week.
Yes, it's 1,000 a week, and it's interesting with social media is you get highs and then you get lows, right,
Right.
of lulls. But it's interesting the way TikTok works is it's one you kind of have one video every once in a while that brings in a new group of followers. So
Yes.
this new trajectory is I recently started instead of sitting down and talking about one topic for 7 minutes, I break it up into 3 parts, which I think
Mhm.
helps people come back. And I
Right.
recently my last video that did really well was about this great article in the Atlantic about how Ivy Leagues are creating a new merit. Ivy Leagues are letting in students based on a meritocracy system that's creating a whole new caste system. So I think that
Mhm.
idea for people on TikTok was fascinating because there's so many
Yeah.
people who are applying to colleges who maybe didn't get into Ivy Leagues. I went to an Ivy League. So I think it brought in this whole new group of people who were fascinated and also were questioning how do I get my hands on an Atlantic? Where can I get the Atlantic magazine?
Yes.
Because so many young people don't even know where to get print. They don't know
Yeah.
where to get a magazine or a newspaper.
Yeah.
So that was
That's true.
also a whole new audience of people
But
too.
you're in New York, so you could go to those stands.
Right. So that's what I always tell people. I'm a little spoiled, but I also tell people your local library most likely still has the
Yeah, they do.
newspaper. A lot of
Mhm.
schools, my aunt is a seventh grade teacher and she loves my content. She shows her students my content. And
Oh,
she didn't even know she teaches in Brandon, Florida. And shout out Audra Daniels, my aunt.
yeah.
And she didn't even know she went to their library and they have been getting the Tampa Bay Times every day. And we're not doing anything with it.
What?
Yes,
And that could be part of her curriculum of like, every once a week at least read the Tampa Bay, newspaper
exactly.
day. So the Atlantic has a journalist that's also in this issue. This is so funny. You know who that is, right?
Wait,
You know who
let me double check because I love the Atlantic.
who writes for the Atlantic, and she's in this issue. She's from Detroit.
Oh, yes, yes, I do love Jamel Hill. Okay,
Yes.
she's
Yes.
everything. Like she
She
is
is from
everything.
Detroit. She is a friend of mine, and I just, when you said that, I was like, okay, so you did the series on the Atlantic. Jamel is in here, and Eleanor is in here, and there's some other people in this issue as well. But it is all from standing from the standpoint of where is Kelsey going with this? I mean,
Mhm.
Kelsey is now a speaker because obviously she's speaking next year and speaking in
Yes.
different places. But she's also a teacher at heart. That's one of the things that she loves to do. But she's also a brand influencer. So
Yes.
let's talk about some of the if you can. I don't want you to like talk about things that are in the works and they're
Mhm.
not done, but some of the brand influencer things that bring in income so that
Yes,
people will understand this is a whole nother career. So
it
someone
is.
who is like, how do people make money on TikTok? Tell them.
Yep. Literally, I hope my parents can see this too because they're still confused. But so basically, what happens is that, when you amass a following, you have an ability to sell and to connect with an audience for to even, it doesn't even have to sell a product, right? It can be an idea, it can be education, it can be learning. So a brand typically reaches out to you if you're signed to an agency or you have a manager, you might be partnered with other brands, and they email you and say, "Hi, we love to work with you. We maybe have a product, something we're launching. What would it look like to create a video?" And a really good brand, what they're going to do is they're going to want you to keep your traditional format on your
Yeah.
platform. So they
Hmm.
don't want you to create this weird content that's not going to bring in, that's going to make your audience feel icky and not want to interact with it. So for example, I recently worked with a brand called Finch, which is a wellness app. And so as an influencer, what I say is, okay, does this brand match with my overall brand? Is this something that I would even do? And the app is really cute. You have a bird and you set really small goals, like, did I make my bed this morning? Did I drink enough water? And
Okay.
as you check off the goals, the bird enjoys life more. The bird can get clothes, the bird can join new communities. It's really cute. It's really, really cute.
That
Um,
is so
so
creative.
yeah, so I work with them, and what they do is they usually come with a campaign and they say, "This is the messaging that we would like you to include. This is what we want you to show your audience." You write a script typically and say, "Hey, this is how I plan to show it." So my audience really likes day in the life vlogs since I don't do them that much anymore. So I say, I'm going to make a vlog saying, "Spend my day with me with Finch." I create a
Mhm.
video, I edit the video, or you can have a team edit the video, and then you work out pricing too. So typically they'll come to you with a price, you negotiate, or your lawyer negotiates, and then you have a contract. Your lawyer goes over it, you sign it, you post the videos, and then you get paid. So that's how it works.
Wow, I
Yeah.
love it. And that is a really Kelsey, that really is a new way of advertising and marketing and
Yes.
promoting. And a lot of a lot of companies, even with newspapers or print, they use branded content, which is the same sort of thing.
Exactly.
It's like they have the platform. And so someone would want to be included in that newspaper or magazine. So they'll have branded content because people want to consume what appears more lifestyle kind of content versus like an ad. Ads are
Yes.
still important, but it's really from the standpoint of influencer marketing is a whole nother realm of marketing and advertising. So there is public relations, there's
Hmm.
advertising, and now there's influencer marketing
Yes.
as well. That is growing. So I read, obviously Kim Kardashian kind of kicked off a lot of this influencer advertising
Hmm.
stuff. So, but like one post years ago, and Kylie as well, I think they did one post for this is old, but Fire Island. I don't know if you remember that
Oh my,
scandal.
I yes, and I watched the documentary.
That's
I don't
right.
know.
So,
I
so for that, she got paid like $100,000 for some posting for Fire Island. And so, for those of you who don't know about Fire Island, I love that documentary. It's a
it's
true
so good.
story. But basically, it was a fake concert that was held, I think, in the Bahamas or something.
Somewhere.
But because she would post about it, people thought it was legit and they thought it was cool and they thought they wanted to be there with the celebrities. And it ended up being like a real big farce. People were thought they would have these great, fabulous hotel rooms, and they ended up like having like blow up mattresses and bologna sandwiches. But anyway, if you've not seen Fire Island, that documentary, it's hilarious because it
Yes.
shows what would happen if influencer marketing goes wrong. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that's not what we're saying here because Kelsey definitely does sell the truth. She like she said, before I take on a brand as a client, she will make sure that the brand aligns with her brand. And so if it's in alignment and she can truthfully say something about it that her audience will be interested in, then that's where it is going to have the magic happen. It'll happen for the client and it'll happen for her audience. And so she's in the in between doing that. So you said something real interesting. You said you shoot the video and you edit the video. Her videos are just too cute. So you gotta follow Monet. If you could put Kelsey's TikTok handle up there so people can see. They gotta follow her on TikTok so they can see these videos. There it is. It's Kelsey Russ. Okay,
Yes.
so it's Kelsey Russ. Um, but you got who taught you how to do these videos? Because you said before you really kind of like you have 40,000 people following you. So like where did the joy of creating the videos and how do you do the videos? Because they're just cute.
Well, okay, first off, I was like born in 2000. So the idea, used to love getting on our computers, making photo booth videos. So I've noticed our generation is just so used to putting a camera down and loving to talk. Not everybody, but it was kind of our pastime. We still played outside. I still got to play outside. I still had to
Okay.
be inside when the street lights were off. I got in trouble. But when we went inside, we got on the computer and we would use our computers and make videos and edit them. I remember when I was 8 years old, I made a Morgan and Kelsey show with my best friend Morgan at the time. And we would make the show, edit it on iMovie, and so many people that age
iMovie.
were doing it. So I think for me, how I learned was it was just a part of me growing up was editing videos, learning how to talk to a camera, watching myself, but also time and practice. I watch a lot of YouTube videos about how to edit. I'm currently a co-host on a kids news show called First Stop News, that's on YouTube, and I sit down and I talk with our cameraman Will, our editor Cam, and I ask them questions about how to edit, what software to use.
Mhm.
So it's
Mhm.
also learning from other
Yeah.
creators, watching other YouTube videos, and I would say CapCut has really made the
Ooh, I
process
love
easier.
CapCut.
Yeah,
Mhm.
CapCut for a lot of creators because they've created a way to edit videos on your phone that is for TikTok, is for Instagram. So I
Yeah.
think they've completely changed the game and made editing not only easier but fun.
Yeah.
Um, so I would say learning and then just being a part of that generation that can't get off
Yeah.
online.
They're
We just
that's
love
just
to
really
make videos.
curious about it. So what
Yeah.
about AI? Do you use any of the AI cloning tools? I knew I want to ask you that. So now now I will say that you do not have the AI clones on your TikTok,
No, no AI
but would
clones.
but would you?
I would never use an AI clone. I actually just did some packaged content with Microsoft about AI and generative AI. And here's how I feel about AI. I love what they said at Afrotech, some of the folks at Microsoft. It's essentially going to be like Excel. It is like Excel on your resume. It's not if you can use it, how you need to know how to use it
Yeah.
because you're the person above you, the CEO is going to be able to use it. So I use AI as a tool to be more efficient when I'm writing emails. Also, like, let's say I want to launch a digital series. Can you create a weekly plan of what that's going to look like for me?
Mhm.
But a clone, I think that might be a little too much for me, Dr. Perry. That might be crossing the line. But I will say, can you gather some topics that might be interesting for my audience that's
Okay.
24 to 35 on TikTok? And maybe seeing if I see those trends while I'm reading to share. So I'm using it to inform myself for
Okay.
sure.
So I will say that I used Hey Jen not too long ago,
Yeah.
and I had Hey Jen talk about the master class I was doing and put it in Spanish. And girl, I put it on TikTok.
Dang.
I think I watch it every day because I'm cracking up. It really looks like I'm talking Spanish and I have the whole language with it and everything. Okay. I was like, this is crazy. And every time I go on like those type of things, I was like, this is crazy. So I'm talking Spanish the entire time. My lips are moving with it as well. It's my script because I gave it to it, but it
Right.
translated into Spanish.
Oh, you need to send me that video because
Oh
now I
my
just
god.
want to
I
play around
was
with that,
like,
have
it
some
was
fun.
so cute. I was like, this is and then it scared me because I was like, "Oh, we could do a whole lot of stuff," because it was just my AI clone doing it. And
Wow.
and
Okay.
and and I just did it just as a test to see how I can because I'm always testing things. I always tell my generation, which is the baby boomers, it's like just click the buttons. You're not gonna break nothing, okay? And even if you do, you could just take it to the store. I mean, you're not gonna break nothing. Just click the buttons. Just figure it out. That's how I figure out CapCut, TikTok. I think I have like maybe 3,000 followers on TikTok. Okay,
Yeah,
so
that's good.
but no one in my generation hardly is ever on TikTok. They're
No,
still on that Facebook. Okay, so
the
but
Facebook.
my favorite platform, just a shout out to, is YouTube. Obviously, I
Love
love
you too.
YouTube, and I love YouTube Shorts and that kind of thing, and LinkedIn.
Mhm.
Those are like the two that I really like. So I want to kind of talk a little bit about, so this is Kelsey before she's doing all this. She's it's Columbia, got the teachers do that. Now she's doing this. So what's in the future for Kelsey? Like what do we see besides speaking on stages? What are
Yes.
the topics, the key topics that you love to speak to about or inspire audiences about?
Yeah, I think the future for me is talking a lot about how print media has helped me a lot with my own mental health and being a part of that anxious generation. That's a really important topic for me to talk about because so many young people consume our news online, and we don't often have the discussion about how that actually impacts the way we interact with news. So
Mm,
while I do love talking about print and, why it's cool and how it's kind of an accessory, it also has really changed the way I look at the world and caused me to be a more positive and optimistic person amidst a lot of things that are going on in the world. So I would say I hope to talk about that. And I also hope to really create a digital series where I can sit down and read physically with people, because I
mm,
think there's something so magical about when you read with people, the silence, but also the ability to have something to talk about, to connect
mhm.
with people. So that is definitely in the future. And I would also say teaching, in more formalized roles. I love being able to connect with folks. Oopsies, guys, I was supposed to turn off my phone. That's my mom. I'm, I'm still 24. Like and I hope she's actually calling me every day for the rest of my life.
It
Um,
reminds me I gotta turn mine off too. So yeah, put on at least silent.
so that's what I would say is in the future is teaching and more formalized roles, because I feel like teaching is also the best way to learn from others. So
It
those are the
is.
three things I hope
Yeah.
to see in the
I
future.
could see you creating a community of some sort of like that. It's almost like old school, like a book club, but
Yes.
more or less like a newspaper club, right? It's like it's and so instead of like having a book club like Oprah's book club, we've got Kelsey's newspaper print club or something like that, where
Yes.
that will be good, where people will come together and actually discuss their newspaper fetishes and the things that they love or they read. I always think that journalists that are print, and I want to make sure I don't offend the broadcast journalists, but the journalists that are print reporters have to spend more time researching. They have longer form stories. Okay, that's
Yeah.
what they have, especially if it's Magazine Atlantic or something. They've got like
Oh yeah.
2,000, 3,000 words that they have to fill versus like maybe a broadcast journalist will maybe have a 5 or 7 at the most, sometimes a 10-minute segment, and they can fill, they always say a picture's worth 1,000 words, video is
Mhm.
like 10,000 words. So a print journalist doesn't have that option. They have to really paint the picture with more words,
Yeah.
which allows the someone who's reading it to have to use more critical thinking skills versus
Exactly.
like just being watching it. Okay.
Totally.
And that's one of the things. So I always tell people when they're trying to do PR to go with print first,
Mhm.
and then move into audio,
Mhm.
whether it's podcast or radio, and then into television. And
Mhm.
because podcast, you could tell it longer story. Television is really, if it's a network, it's going to be 5 to 7 minutes.
Mhm.
And in print, obviously, you could tell a longer form story, and it's just shareable. It's just really a
Exactly.
lot more shareable. It's portable. You could take it with you. I just love like print, that kind
I
of
love
thing.
it
So
too.
those are like the main things. I see some comments. I want to make sure that I say hello, and that's one of the things that multitasking when I'm doing these type of streams
You are
is
impressive.
Sherry Burrell. She says, uh, greetings from Burrell Worldwide. Greetings to you as well in Beverly Hills. We just love that. And then energetic Erica. She says she loves Barnes and Nobles. Girl, meet me over there after this.
Love
Okay.
it. The smell is what gets me. The smell is so distinct in there too. I love it. I
It
love it.
is. It is. So we're going to go through the pages. And I meant to send you this too, Kelsey. And it's called Pages. It's a magazine that's called Pages. So I don't know if you have it, but I'll send it
Mm-mm.
to you. But it's actually called Pages, and it talks a lot about the process of how magazines are put together. So I'll send that to you as well. And then I'm also going to send you this one as well called TikTok Talks. And this is by Wired. I
Love
saved
Wired.
everything. I'm going to give this one to you. This is from March and April of 2024. And it really talks about this guy here on the cover. about his
Mm,
TikTok. The boss of the world's biggest app opens up about viral music, algorithm censorship, and the whole China thing. Okay.
mm.
So, TikTok has been in the news a lot lately.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna send that to you as well because I'm sure you have some conversations or some op-eds that you could write about that as well. And then this one is NABJ. She was the journalist of the year. This was in 2018, but I say this because this is such a good issue. This was after the time where she was let go of from I want to say the publication was
Hmm.
ESPN.
I remember that.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and right after that, she was kind of like figuring out. But actually, that was the best thing that really happened to her
It
because
really was. It was
it,
their loss.
it was their loss. I mean,
Yeah.
because she's just blowing up. She started a podcast. She started writing for the Atlantic and all that kind of thing.
That's how God
So
works.
yeah, yeah, that is. And so now we're gonna go through the magazine, the cover here really, again, this is the one that's going to be the billboard, where that particular picture that Jeff Brooks took is going to be in there, and then also to celebrating the Black press. We call you the media literate hottie on the cover of this. Really making really the main thing is just making media literacy hot,
Yeah.
so that people can really consume it without being depressed. Okay, like you were saying,
Yeah.
it's a way to consume it, to have a critical thinking about it, and go on. So yeah, so then the next page really just gives us a little bit about the program that just launched, or not just launched, but launching for January, the Ready Set Go Speak community. And what this really is a program for people who want to have the framework of how to really get out there and be a speaker. It's a
Mhm.
12-month program with me. It's part mastermind, part mentorship, but it's also a community so people can inspire and encourage each other. It's called Ready, Set, Go, Speak. It's online. Every week I have office hours, and I try to put the best of the best information in there, as well as leads of media, leads of awards, leads of pitch contests, things like that I put nowhere else, but put it in here with the community. And then the Speak Sell Shine, which you'll be at next year at Howard Theater,
Yes.
is a part of that. So you're part of Ready, Set, Go, Speak. Everyone who goes through Speak, Sell, Shine stays with me through the mentorship mastermind of Ready, Set, Go. And that is really like the main thing. We're meeting in person, we're networking live, meeting media people, doing the sizzle reels, that kind of thing. So that's what we're going to be doing there with you next year. So I'm making sure that you got those dates down,
Thank
and I'm
you.
gonna watch what you eat the day before.
Yeah, and I will too. And I will too. No sushi for me. Very solid. It's giving very lots of vegetables and
Right,
soups
right.
before.
So this particular issue, reading the context here, really talks about, on this particular editorial, about celebrating Speakers Magazine and really the gratitude of the Black press, the Black media, and also partnerships with NABJ, Black Speakers Network, as well, and NMPA, which is the National Newspapers Publishers Association. We're going into year 8. I'm putting together a planner because media is so segmented now
Mhm.
that there's so many options. There's online, there's offline, there's print. So a planner just really makes you keep it all together. And that's what I use as a publicist. So the PR planner will be coming out this year as well. It's to help people really master the media, but also keep all their connections in one spot. And it'll be a little bit of uh, a tool that has templates in it, but also the main thing is a way for you to know how to go after media particular months. So say for instance, January is a good month if people are talking about goals, they're thinking about dreams. So part of it is MLK Day, his famous speech, I have a dream. People are thinking about goals. It's a brand new year, fresh slate. So if you have anything that's inspiring like that, that is good to pitch to the media. Maybe you could pitch that story about what is your way that you create dreams to come true. That's that sort of thing. Or if you have an event that has to do with that theme, because they're looking for themes that month. February, obviously, we know that's a big month for love, but also for Black History Month. So
Mhm.
anything that has to do. So last year, I did this with a client. She's a caterer, and we talked about food and love and Black history. So she talked about her company, which is Sharon Reed and Cooking with Love.
Mhm.
Obviously, Valentine's Day. So the Valentine's Day weekend, she showed a particular black, uh, soul food uh, dish, cooking with love, but also with health, heart health as
Mm.
well. So, Black History Month, love, we put all the themes in there. So, we pitched it, and she actually ended up on two shows in the month of February, the ABC and NBC affiliate in DC. So, those are the type of things, and really one of the main things too, I just want to make sure that people know that the whole part of Speakers Magazine is to empower people. It really is to empower people. Speakers who are what I call light bearers or messengers. They're the people who have something to say and share. And so the next person, Denise Rollard Barnes, she spoke at Speak Sell Shine the last year. To go back really quick, she's celebrating 60 years this
Mhm.
year, and so her event for her 60 year in publishing is next year. It was started by her father. She's the person that's running it now. And then also she's passing it off to her son as well. So she's one of the people in the Black press where her newspaper was really created to tell our stories. And so it's a little bit about Denise. She's the Washington Informer in Washington, D.C. And then the next page is Jamel. We talked about Jamel Hill from Detroit, a champion for Black press, Black journalist. She's unapologetically Jamel, the
Mhm.
voice that transcends sports. So people think like, oh, she just talks about sports. No, she talks way more about sports. She's super smart. Sports is like her passion, but she really loves to speak on all things that have to do with uplifting her community. She also has won two NAACP Image Awards. Yes, besides end up the NABJ Journalist of the Year award. So yeah, Jamel is like the bad. Now over here to the side is talks about how we champion the Black press. So this particular, I'm holding it right here, but this particular book was actually put together by Rosetta Miller Perry. No relation to me, but she really highlighted all the African American women publishers. Denise being one of them as well, but she went through and she highlighted the history of each one of the Black women who are publishers in across the country. And it's not that many of them. There's only about 200
Mm.
particular Black newspapers, and she highlighted them. That she's part of NNPA, which is the National Newspapers and Publishers Association. But Denise is in here, and you'll find that there's a lot of other ones in here, but it's really good history. It's a coffee table type of book. It sits on mine. But again, from the Milwaukee Times to the Indianapolis
Mhm.
Recorder, a lot of them are second and third generation uh, newspapers. Here's the Baltimore
Yep.
Times. There's Joycelyn Bramble as
Wow.
well. They are very, 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 very good. Um, what do you call it? Documents that you
Mhm.
want to know about the people behind the people. So yeah, so that's good. That's good. And the next one, yeah, so that really talks about why we're doing it, because obviously print stays here forever. We want to make sure that people have that. So this actually, I found this particular book in Nashville. Yeah,
Mm.
because she's in Tennessee, in Nashville, in the airport. So not only she's has newspapers, but she also has she has stores in Nashville in the airport that celebrate the Black press. Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
that's really, really cool. That's really, really cool.
This is
So, definitely wanna make sure we do that. And then on the next page, we have the center spread. And I love, love, love this picture right here. That
same.
is so, so cool. And I don't know what paper you were reading. It says Sunday Opinion. I'm thinking it was probably the New York.
It was the New York Times for
Yeah, I
sure.
think it was the
Yes,
New York
it
Times, but I
was.
was like, okay, we kinda like Jeff kinda blended that picture out so it wouldn't just like we're not really promoting New York Times, but
Mm-mm.
just print in general. And so that was cool. And then I love the one up by the fireplace as well. Again, working with a great photographer that captures the essence of you is really, really important. It shows your energy, shows your passion for that. And really the whole story talks about how you are redefining the way we consume news. So please make sure that you go to speakersmagazine.com and read the story about Kelsey and just really get the foundation of how she started into all of this as well as the influencer. The next page I think we're talking about uh, bookable. So this really right here talks about, and you can even scan it as well, about are you bookable? Because a lot of times people want to be a speaker, and it's like, but there's certain things that you need to have in place. And so I kind of let people really assess themselves with this because there's certain things, these are baseline things, and they all should really be yeses, but at least you'll know like where you stand.
Right.
And if you feel like you need to have a little bit more, then that's when I kind of direct people to it's like, hey, well, these are certain tools that you need to have. But the bookable thing is really one of the main things that, for instance, it'll have like one of the questions is like, do you have a clear understanding of your media goals and how to leverage publicity to build your brand?
Mhm.
And if you're like deer in the headlights, like what? And then that's one of the things that we kind of help you with, like
Right. Number
how
one is very important.
yeah, like how to understand the media, how to understand the media. Kimberly Byers, she's in this issue really what you find that someone who takes adversity, their pain and turn it into their purpose. And that's one of the things that Kimberly Byers, and we love spotlighting speakers that really have a message that transforms others from the things that they've gone through, that they've overcome, and now they're sharing their lessons. And that's what Kimberly Byers is doing. I believe she's in the Washington, D.C. area as well. So I believe she is. So anyway, that is one of the things. She's been in the military as well. She was, salute to her for her service, 28 years in the
Wow.
military as well. So yeah, I believe she is in the Washington, D.C. area as well. But she also wrote a book called Grief Almost Had Me and Peace Brought Me Out. So that's one of the things that Kimberly talks about as well. So a lot of times, what this magazine does, because like I said, I sent it yesterday to an event where we were at. Who's who? You never know who's going to pick this up and say, "Hey, I need the speaker for this." So that's why we highlight the speakers and the way we highlight them the way they are. All of her contact information is on there. Her video is actually in the magazine as well, so people can
Mhm.
actually hear her. The next page is one of my heroes, Dr. Ben Chavis.
Yeah.
He was a cover maybe about 4 years ago, but
Mhm.
he is a civil rights justice uh, icon. And he also is president of the NNPA as well. So he's part of this as well. And he has his own show on PBS called The Chavis Chronicles. So that story, if a lot of people, if you're not familiar with him, I try to tell his story as often as I can because he's one of the ones, he's been over the NNPA since 2014, but he's his grandfather, just a little tidbit, was one of the first African Americans to ever go to Princeton.
Wow.
Yeah. Yes, he's the first graduate of Princeton University. Yes. So that's, and so Dr. Chavis was born in 1943. So we're talking like a couple, yeah, that's pretty major. So really one of the
Yeah.
main things is that he was part of the Wilmington 10, which was a group of civil rights activists. At the age of 23, he was wrongfully convicted of arson in North Carolina. Because of that, he was wrongly convicted. Kelsey, he at 23, he spent 10 years in prison. They were overturned in 1980. So from the age of
Wow.
23 to 33, um, wrongfully, charged
Mm.
and prosecuted that he was incarcerated. So he was also part of the Million Man March. Him and Farrakhan were the ones that led that and started that first Million Man March. So he's done a lot. I mean, I don't know what it would be like to be in prison for a year, much less to be in there for a
Decade.
decade,
Mm.
wrongfully charged. So, and to come out and then still do a television show on PBS and part of the NMPA. I mean, so I want people to know all about Dr. Chavis. He's just amazing. Sherelle Dorsey, she used to work at the Free Press with me. She's a powerful journalist and she actually is a powerful voice in tech. So I wanted her to be in this issue with you, Kelsey, because one of the things that she does is she does a TED Talk, Tech Talk. Let's see,
Mhm.
TED Talk.
Tech Talk. Yep.
Yes, yes, yes. So she does their podcast on tech, and
Mm.
that's one of the things that I wanted you to meet with her as well. She's also been featured in things like the Seattle Times and the Washington Post and that kind of thing. But I definitely wanted you to make sure you meet with her because she speaks a lot on stages like Google and Amazon and Microsoft and Cisco and things like that. So she's a powerful voice in tech and sustainability. That's one of her key things as well. A very, very smart. Has a master's degree in data journalism from Columbia.
I was gonna say also a
Yes, yes.
fellow.
So
Yeah.
she's an alumni with you as well. So from
Mhm.
Columbia. Then the next page we have here is one of the publisher that I talked about earlier. We talk about Eleanor. So she's at Amsterdam News, and I want to say the Amsterdam News was published over 100 years ago, but she runs that newspaper with such prestige and pristine. So, reading about Eleanor, you can see why she was Publisher of the Year according to EMP. She really, really does the thing. She's appeared on a whole lot of television shows. So, the newspaper is 125 years old.
Wow, I've read the Amsterdam News too.
Yeah, yeah, 125, and it's really like it's one of the leading Black newspapers, but it's just leaving a legacy for
Mm-hmm.
our community, and that's one of the things. And then the last, the Speaker Hub, which is our sponsor for Speakers Magazine, is for people to really be listed on speaker um, websites, and for people to actually uh, know how to find you, but then also you pitch. So you can pitch yourself within the speaker hub as well as people can find you. So people
Mm-hmm.
can get started for free by going to that bit.ly link and really, just the way to get more speaking gigs, and I really kind of teach this in Ready, Say, Go Speak, is to really position yourself, build your platform, and pitch. Okay. And it's about pitching to the right people, but you've got to know who it is you're pitching to. So they have thousands and thousands of associations in here. And it's such a cool tool, Kelsey, because not only can you pitch it, but it'll also have like a little AI tool in it, and it'll start the letter for you and
Love
it'll
that.
send it out for you. And within that system, it'll also boomerang for you as well if you haven't heard back from them in a week. Okay,
Oh,
it's like it's so easy.
I
It's
like
so
that.
easy
That's too
today.
easy.
It's so easy today. It's just like you just got to use the tools. Don't be afraid of them.
Absolutely,
Use the tools.
absolutely,
Yes, yes. So that's
absolutely.
and then this is coming up in Baltimore
Mm.
in January. It's a live event and it's called Command the Crowd. It's a small group, the 24th and the 25th. And basically, Quinn is a speaker, and I just actually heard her speak on Black NSA the other day, and she
Mm-hmm.
is phenomenal. She talks about
Mm-hmm.
how to command the crowd by using these luxury language words that she talks about, and really how she does speak. She speaks often, a lot, uh, and she gets paid. And primarily, that is what she does. Doesn't do anything else. She's actually a platform speaker as well as a MC. So she gets paid
Mm-hmm.
to MC like corporate events and that sort of thing. So this is her event that's coming up in January. If you want to, it's a small group crowd there as well, downtown Inner Harbor. But it's really an in person there where she actually takes you through a couple of days about how to speak. So Speak Sell Shine is not about how to speak, it's about marketing.
Right.
Hers is like how to speak, how to
Mm.
use what she called luxury language. And I just saw that and it was so good.
I
Hey
love
there. Okay. Hey Delmar. Delmar, she says, "Hey, she's from Atlanta over there. Good, good, good to meet you. Good to meet you." So this right here, Speakers Magazine. This is our issue, the December issue, where we got Kelsey Russell on the cover, the TikTok superstar, telling everybody about print, the print princess, right? Because you see, I got this print stuff on, right? So it's like she makes it so that it is cool to read print again and really discuss it. And I'm just excited about what's going to happen for you in 2025
me
because after
too.
this Times Square billboard, it's time for you to launch that little, I won't say little, but to launch your community so that we
It
can be a
is.
part of what Kelsey's doing. I
It
mean,
is.
it could be Patreon, it can be Mighty Networks.
Yeah.
I know it won't be on Facebook, that's for sure. I know you're not gonna be.
Probably not on Facebook, but
It won't be a,
Patreon is
it,
way
it,
more my
won't, it
speed.
won't be a Facebook group, that's for
No,
sure. So, but we'll make sure that we'll let people know about it, because one of the things is it's almost like well, Oprah has an influence where whatever she did, people would just say, "Hey, I'd love to be a part of it." And her
yeah,
book club was an extension of what she loved, and so it would be a natural extension of you doing some kind of newspaper, print, community where it's an extension of what you love,
yeah,
and that would just be another way for people to even learn about being an influence as well. Because I think people want to know how you do that.
yeah. I
People
think
want to know
people
how you
do.
do that.
It's
That's
it's
it.
behind the scenes. It's always interesting to see what goes on behind the scenes.
It is. It is. So I just thank you so much for joining us. The people in the magazine, just a little final tidbit. They were in this magazine celebrating the Black press, and you have copies of them. You have your copy?
Oh, I have my copy, and I have lots of other copies right
Good, good.
here. Okay,
So this is the thing. You're going to go around and never, ever go anywhere without
without it,
this mag.
I won't. I won't.
Yeah, you don't have to carry the sign, but you do have to carry the magazine.
Because the sign, and mind you, I have the other one right here too.
Oh my
So
God, that was the first one. That was the
yes,
first
that was
one.
the
That
first
was a
one.
picked up sign. Oh my God. So that is the thing, because you want to carry it around, but also too, I want to make sure that each person in there, from Eleanor to Jamel to Sherelle, to Denise, Dr. Ben Chavis, that you please reach out to them, and I'll send you
Yes,
information so that you can connect with them,
please,
because each
please.
issue is a connection, is a family by itself. So
Great
all of
information.
you are the alumni December 2024 Speakers Magazine. So
Yeah.
you want to make sure that you're connecting with them, and also Quinn as well on the back.
Yes.
Quinn is someone that you definitely should meet if you're in Baltimore in January again. Definitely, she would probably love to have you there as well. But making sure that you do, all of their information is at the bottom, so we're
Hmm.
not trying to hide it. Everybody, you could find out how to reach Kelsey on TikTok and on LinkedIn as well. So her information is there. So make sure that you do follow her on TikTok. And also, too, if you want to be featured in 2025, you can, the information is in the front of the magazine as well. So please, this is all of the issues are online from the last year, from the last 7 years. Go through each one. And if there's someone that resonates with you, click the button, connect with them, watch their video, follow them on LinkedIn, TikTok. Don't stalk them, don't be a creeper, but actually talk to them. And I
Yes.
said that, that the game changer that I think will be different for people in 2025, because we have all these other online tools and AI and everything. It's just pick up the phone sometime and call people.
Hello. It goes a long way. It goes a long way.
It's like, be a real person. Call them. I mean, you can even send them a video. You can send them a loom. You can
A
send them,
voice memo.
yeah, voice memo. But just pick up
Yeah.
the phone and call folks, and leave a comment. And I said, a lot of times we like people posts. I said, but sometimes like and then leave a comment. You'll be so surprised.
And share it. Share it too.
Yes,
Share it.
sharing is
Share it.
very, very important. That's
Sharing is
what
very
makes
important.
things really, if you find something that's really, really good, please share it. It doesn't
Mhm.
cost you anything to share that. Um, so one of the things, Monet, if you could put down where they can read this month's issue. And speaking of what, yes, so they go to this month's issue, hit the button. There's share buttons on the page. If you go to where you see Kelsey's face, click it, and you'll read her full story, and then hit share, because you can share it on Pinterest, which I do share things on Pinterest. I don't
Love
spend a lot of
Pinterest.
time on Pinterest, but it does have good, algorithms and things like that. You could share it on, obviously, Facebook. People still love there. People, and you can share definitely on X. People still go there. Journalists
Mhm.
still go on X, and then you can share it definitely on LinkedIn. So just hitting those share buttons doesn't cost you anything. I just say it's good karma.
That's a good way to look at it. I like that.
It's good karma.
I
That's
like
it.
that.
So, Kelsey, thank you so much. What do you have going on for the rest of the year?
Oh, for the rest of the year? Well, actually, I'm taking a nice break for the rest of the year. I'll be
Okay, that's what
filming.
I was hoping. That's what
Yeah,
I was
I'm
hoping.
going to the beach with my family for 2
Oh,
weeks. So
oh, you
I'll be
deserve it.
But I do have some content coming out with one newspaper from where the city I'm from, so I am looking forward to that and some content. Just became an ambassador with Media Wise for Pointner, so I have some content coming out with them.
Oh,
But all of that content will be pre-scheduled and made before I hit the plane to go to Jamaica. So
did you just say pointer like Poyt? Now that's huge.
yeah, it's huge. It's huge.
It is huge.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was you just throw that in there the last few minutes, right? Like I'm gonna be with that is like the serious one for print, for
Yes, so
journalism. Oh,
serious. So they
yeah.
have a group of ambassadors who are influencers. So I'm excited. I'll be launching that. But still, all of those things, when you see them, I'll actually be on the beach. That's what we'll
Oh
be
my
doing.
God. Okay, so if you are on the beach when the New York Times square is up, we'll still videotape it. So you'll
Yeah,
have
because
that
yeah,
as
we'll talk about that date too, though, because I
yeah.
do have some in between. So if I need to come up and see it, I absolutely will.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Very good. Very good. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, being on the cover. Enjoy what is going to be coming up for you in 2025 and beyond.
thank
This
you.
is fire. Thank you again to our photographer, Jeff Brooks. He
Thank
had
you,
did
Chad.
the darn thing and did it fast. If you want to be in Speakers Magazine 2025, we have a photographer that we work with, and Jeff is our go-to guy that we use for that. And then make sure that you read the magazine and share it and then subscribe. You can also subscribe to the print publication. We send them out to the media and meeting planners, but you can actually go to the site and subscribe to it. I think it's I can't remember how much it is. I think it's $24 a year, but
That's
you actually get it in the mail to you if you want to do
great.
that. So you make sure that you could do that as well. And thank you, Delmar and Energetic Airy and Sherry for joining us over there, and others that if you're watching it the replay, thanks and have a great holiday, great rest of the year. If you have opportunity, please, drop us a line, let us know, drop some comments on the Speakers Magazine site. We'd love to hear from you guys and reply. All righty. God bless you. Take care. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Yay. We can do a screenshot.